Well, hello everyone. We've got an Age of Fantasy Skirmish battle report that I played this past weekend. So we had a turn. Well, I would say some OPR group in Dallas had an Age of Fantasy Skirmish tournament this past weekend that me and Sam went to. So I'm going to go through the three games that we've played. I was up first on my game one. I brought some dwarves and against a Eastern Empires, which is a custom army. It's a 300-point battle report. So 300 points. It's two objectives. So I forgot the names of the scenarios, but this one is the one that the objectives are basically each of us get one and they're set up in the center. So sort of a capture the flag, I believe. We also had secondary objectives that we picked. I forgot what those were. I know that both of us got our secondary objectives. So I don't remember what those were. So here's my list for the three games. I have a marksman, 3 hammer elites, 2 units of bearded veterans with spears, some iron warriors, and then I've got a warbear rider. So it's a real sort of defensive list that basically I use my bearded veterans and my iron warriors to protect those hammers and just get them in, as long as I've got this warbear rider who's sort of a good shock troop, and then I have a marksman just to add a few runes here and there. So my opponent's bringing some Eastern Empires. This is a custom list, so I just took a picture of it. It's a really cool list, actually. So he's running Musashi, which is cool. So this is a fearless hero. His army-wide rules, he's got a lot of fearless and frenzy in this list. So really good on the charge. A lot of Fearless, Frenzy, and Rending in the list. And he has this Bloodthirsty. Bloodthirsty is basically... he's got a 12-inch bubble that he's got Furious. So remember, a lot of his units have Frenzy. And then this Bloodthirsty gives him the Furious on 5s and 6s. So he's really nasty on the charge. He's got Neomasa. So this guy's really nasty because he has a spear. He's also got the Bloodthirsty rule, and also Frenzy. He's got an archer. So he's got 2 archers. One he's got with a sergeant upgrade with longbows. So he's got some shooting. 2 samurai. These guys also have counter. So with rending, and they have fearless and frenzy. And then he's got a 3-man warrior squad also with counter. Oh, excuse me. And they have the dodge upgrade. So it's a really cool list. Sort of elite. But yeah, very good. All right, so let's just go into the setup here. So this is just our setup. Yeah, there's some. So you can see both of us just get one objective in the center. I don't remember what our secondaries were, but like I said, we both get them. That's what I do know. All right, so that's just sort of our setup here. He spreads out a little more. Me being a slow army and a defensive army, I'm going to play pretty close. So this is my setup for most of the games, where I've just got my front line and just everything is there just to protect those hammerers. Turn 1, I do get to go first, so I just start moving up. Pretty straightforward that I'm just starting to move up. He moves up as well. I move up. So this is a lot of us on the turn 1 that we're just moving up. I think he takes a pot shot here and there, but I don't think he hits. So this is him just sort of moving up and me moving up as well. You can see I'm moving my hammers behind those guys. That's one of his samurais, and he's got a bowman right there. So this is just my bearded veterans. And you can see my strategy is pretty straightforward, that I'm just protecting those hammers. He moves up his spearman. I move up my other hammer. That's one of his generals. So that's one of his leaders that he has the spear, the counter. It's pretty nasty. This is just me moving up my marksman. I couldn't shoot anything. That is the Musashi, so he's pretty nasty. And this is just me, so I do get to go first. I'm sorry, he gets to go first next round. But I do rush up my bear rider pretty aggressively. And you can kind of see my bear rider, as he's moving up, I can sort of target 2 of those units. So he's got a samurai and a bowman. So I'm more trying to have this bear rider just run up there and hit the flank. And then I'm just going to sort of hold the center. So, yeah. All right, so that's just after everyone moved up. You can see it's pretty straightforward right here. We all basically just moved up. And you can see here I'm just sort of forming, sort of almost this football style protection for those hammers. He does get to go first next round. So the first thing he does is he rushes up his general. So this guy has counter, so he's not particularly worried about me charging him. I think he's pretty comfortable with that. He's also trying to extend that frenzy bubble because that's a big deal for his army, is to get that bloodthirsty bubble. So in response to that, though, I charge my bear into both of his units. So I hit the archer and the samurai. The samurai, so here, that's just me charging. I think, yeah, he does get a counter from that samurai, and he does a wound on my bear. But I also roll really good. So this is a big deal in Fantasy Skirmish. I always say, like, Age of Fantasy Skirmish is not too competitive because if you just have one good turn of dice rolls, it can change the game big. So in this, I did have a really great turn where I hit and took down both of his guys, and I rolled 2 5s. So not only do I knock them down, I also rolled 2 5s on the death save, and I kill both of them. So they serve. So that's a huge deal. I was not expecting to take out both of those guys. In response to that, Musashi charges in, kills 2 of my guys, and then my veteran returns fire and does 1 wound on Musashi. So I then charge it, and remember, this guy's got counter, so I charge in and I do 1 wound, but he doesn't wound me either. Those guys, his army is very dependent on rolling rending, so he sends in a samurai, takes out 1, but they're fatigued, so they miss. So in response, I know I need to take out Musashi, so I move up one of my my marksmen. I shoot him, and I do 1 wound on him. So that's some good rolling on my part. He moves up his archer and he shoots, but misses. And then my hammer goes in, so I just need 1 wound on him. Yeah, I do 1 wound, and I just stun him. But point being is I knock that guy, I knock him down. He then just rushes up his spears. And this is me, so I've really got to deal with this counter guy. So I send in him. But he actually rolls a 6, and he knocks down my hammer before I get a chance to attack, but he just stuns him. But yeah, this guy's pretty nasty because he's got that counter with 3 attacks. So he's difficult to deal with. I then send in my other hammer to his samurai. But I think we both miss. And then I finally send in my bearded veterans, and I finally knock down this samurai as well. So that's good. Because remember, I'm dealing with counter on these samurais as well. So that's the end of the first turn. Sort of trading pretty well right now. The big deal is on that bottom flank, my Warbear Rider was able to take out 2 of his guys. So that's just the picture here. You can see him advancing up the top, and I'm advancing up the bottom. All right, turn 3. So the first thing he does is he stands at Musashi, which is probably pretty good. So what I do is I just charge in and I auto kill these guys with the Iron Warriors, and then they just move up. So just picking him off. His samurai, his leader charges my my hammer and just automatically kills him. Remember, because he's got counter, he doesn't count as being fatigued, so he's able to just clear out my hammer and then just sort of wait to get charged. So yeah, that's just him. Oh, he actually consolidates a little closer. My hammer goes into Musashi. I do 1 more wound on him, and I knock him down, which is great because I want this guy on the ground. So these spears, they charge my last bearded veteran, and they hit him, and they stun him. But he just immediately stands up. So those guys charge in, they do a wound, they knock him on the ground, but then he just stands up. So that's that. Okay, I think that's just him backing up. At this point, oh yeah, his archer shoots my bearded veteran. No, that's just him doing 2 wounds. I'm sorry, that we had a discrepancy there. But it turns out, yeah, he did 2 wounds on my bearded veteran, so sorry about that. So my Warbear Rider at this point just rushes forward to sort of help out on that flank. My marksman moves up, and I think he tries to shoot the leader, but doesn't wound him. And then I send in my other bearded veterans into his leader. He kills 2 of them because counter. But luckily, my last one does manage to get that other wound on this leader. I'll tell you, that counter on that guy is so nasty. And then I send in my other hammerer. Luckily, he misses. He's fatigued, so he misses me, and I'm able to finally get that third wound on this guy, and I stun him. So this is a really big deal for me on this turn, and then I've knocked down both of his leaders. It's pretty good. So that's just the picture here. On that flank, you can see he's sort of crushing that top, and I'm sort of going for the bottom, but I'm also able to bring my Warbear Rider again into the fray, so that should help. So yeah, just a picture there. Oh, I'm sorry. This is on this is on the fourth turn, and on the first turn, the first thing he does is he stands up his spear leader. So at that point, my remaining bearded veteran charges Musashi and automatically kills him. His spears then charge my guy, and they do 3 wounds on him, but I think they roll pretty bad, and he manages to only get stunned. I send in my Warbear Rider into them. I kill 1. He moves up his archer, and he shoots at the downed hammerer and kills him. So that's just his archer shooting me. My marksman moves up and tries to shoot at his leader. So this guy is, fresh again. So he's got his full counter again. So I shoot him, but I miss. And then my Iron Warriors, they move up to capture his objective. And then my bearded veteran, I sort of just don't want to deal with that leader with counter. So I instead sort of ignore him, and I just move to my objective with that bearded veteran. So yeah, that's the end of the turn. You can kind of see here, like that. Yeah. And yeah, on turn 4. So turn 4, so here, I think my Warbear Rider goes in and finishes off the spears. He then charges, so he needs to contest, so he charges my hammer and then kills him, but doesn't. So this is a big deal for him. He doesn't get a lot of kills, and so he gets a lot of stuns. So it's just one of those things. So at this point, I send in my Warbear Rider, do 3 wounds on him, and then at that point, we sort of call the game because I could just basically charge and kill his leader, so that's going to effectively wipe him. So my Warbear Rider manages to finish him off. So that's good. The end of the game, it's victory to the Dwarfs. I achieved my primary, which is to capture the objectives, and then we both got our secondaries. I really like the Eastern Empire's list. I think, I would say, these games aren't too competitive in the sense that it's all about the dice rolls. And one of the things that he really suffered in this game is he wasn't able to actually roll the death saves. If you roll that 5 or a 6 on a death save, it's a huge deal for just 1 wound because you take out a model. So just kind of keep these in mind. These skirmish games are more just fun. I don't take them seriously from a competitive nature. But I really like Eastern Empires. I think they're a super elite army, and I want to try and play those myself. So yeah, I like his army, and really fun game. Hey, thanks for watching. You can always play against me on Universal Battles too. Always interested in feedback. Let us know how we're doing. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers, so we'd love your support, subscription, and comment. Give us any thoughts that you have. If you're in Austin, you can always play against me and Sam and the Austin Alternative Gaming Freaks. Thanks so much. I'll see you on next game, on game 2.